Messi, Neymar and Ronaldo were on a plane ready for an exciting journey. The atmosphere was electric as they boarded, each player carrying their gear and chatting animatedly. The plane was specially chartered for the big event, and the players were in high spirits, sharing jokes and discussing strategies for the upcoming match. They were going to a big soccer game, one that fans around the world had been eagerly anticipating. The stadium was expected to be packed with thousands of cheering supporters, all eager to see their favorite stars in action. The players could feel the excitement building as they imagined the roar of the crowd and the thrill of the game. A kid sat next to them, staring in awe. He couldn't believe his luck. Here he was, sitting next to some of the greatest soccer players in the world. His eyes were wide with amazement as he took in every detail, from their jerseys to their confident smiles. It was a moment he would never forget. He had a backpack and a soccer ball, symbols of his own dreams and aspirations. The backpack was filled with his favorite soccer memorabilia, and the ball was well worn from countless hours of practice. He hoped that one day he too could play on the same field as his heroes. The kid was very excited to be near his heroes. His heart raced with excitement and he could hardly contain his joy. He had so many questions he wanted to ask, so many things he wanted to say, but for now he was content just to be in their presence, soaking up the experience.
Wow, you guys are the best. I wish I could play like you someday. The kid's voice was filled with admiration and hope. He looked at each player with shining eyes, dreaming of the day when he might follow in their footsteps. The players smiled, touched by his enthusiasm and sincerity.
Ronaldo smiled and gave a thumbs up. His gesture was simple but full of encouragement. It was a moment of connection, a silent promise that dreams could come true with hard work and dedication. The kid beamed, feeling a surge of inspiration. Neymar showed off some fancy footwork, dazzling everyone with his skills. His movements were fluid and graceful, a testament to years of practice and natural talent. The kid watched in awe, trying to memorize every move, every trick. Messi, always quiet, just nodded politely. His calm demeanor was a stark contrast to the excitement around him, but his presence was no less impactful. The kid felt a deep respect for Messi's quiet confidence and humble nature. It was a lesson in grace and humility, one that he would carry with him always. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed through the plane. The engine was sputtering. Smoke filled the cabin. People started to panic.
This is bad!
Ronaldo's face was pale. Even Messi looked concerned. The kid started to cry. What would happen to them? Mbappé, who had been strangely quiet, suddenly sprang up. He grabbed a large bag from under his seat. He dashed towards the emergency exit door.
See ya!
He jumped out of the plane, the bag clutched tightly in his arms. The other passengers gasped in shock.
We need parachutes, cried Neymar. He rushed to grab one, his heart pounding with adrenaline. The urgency in his voice was palpable as he scanned the area for the nearest parachute. His fingers trembled slightly as he reached out, knowing that every second counted.
Ronaldo, not to be outdone, followed close behind. His competitive spirit kicked in and he couldn't let Neymar get ahead. With a determined look, he sprinted towards the parachutes, his mind racing with thoughts of the jump ahead. The thrill of the challenge was evident in his eyes.
I'm the best player in the world, Ronaldo argued. I deserve a parachute. His voice was filled with conviction as he grabbed the equipment. The intensity of his words matched the fire in his eyes, showcasing his unwavering belief in his abilities.
Neymar scoffed. Please, I'm way faster. I need to keep playing. His tone was a mix of frustration and determination. He couldn't let Ronaldo's words go unchallenged. The rivalry between them was fierce, and Neymar was not about to back down.
They each grabbed a parachute and jumped out one after the other. The wind roared in their ears as they plummeted towards the earth, the thrill of the freefall taking over. Their competitive spirits soared as they maneuvered through the sky, each trying to outdo the other in this daring adventure. Messi looked at the remaining parachute. He knew the situation was dire. The plane was losing altitude rapidly and there were only a few moments left to make a decision. The weight of responsibility pressed heavily on his shoulders. Then he looked at the kid who was trembling with fear. The child's eyes were wide with terror and his small hands clutched the seatbelt tightly. Messi could see the desperation in the boy's eyes, a silent plea for help.
Don't worry, Messi said kindly. "You take this parachute." His voice was calm and reassuring, a stark contrast to the chaos around them. He gently placed the parachute in the child's hands, making sure it was secure.
The kid wiped his tears and shook his head. He couldn't believe what was happening. The reality of the situation was overwhelming, and he felt a mix of gratitude and fear.
But what about you?" he stammered. His voice was shaky, filled with concern for the man who had just given him a chance to survive.
The kid pointed to Neymar's empty seat. The absence of his friend added to the tension. Where was Neymar? Why wasn't he here to help?
"He took my backpack!" The child's voice was filled with confusion and frustration. He couldn't understand why Neymar would take his bag. I think he thought it was his bag. The realization dawned on him slowly. It was a simple mistake, but in this critical moment, it felt monumental.
Messi looked surprised. He hadn't noticed the mix-up in the chaos. His mind raced as he tried to figure out the next step. There were 2 parachutes left. Relief washed over him. They still had a chance. He quickly grabbed the parachutes, ready to act. He smiled at the kid. "Don't worry, we'll both be fine." His confidence was infectious, and the child began to calm down. It seemed like everything might just be okay after all. The tension eased and a sense of hope filled the air. They were going to make it.